Hello class, this is lesson 1.1, Numerical Expressions. The goal of this video is I can write numerical expressions for verbal expressions. And you want to open your textbook to page 9 where you will be taking notes. And you should have a sheet like this that was a handout. It's basically just the operation words for each of our operation. You may find it useful as you're doing your assignment today. Okay, let's get into our examples. So I want to write a numerical expression for each verbal expression. So we're going to change the verbal words into numbers and operations. So this is number 1 on your page, so you can write it right in the spot for number 1. So 2 plus 12 divided by 4. So first I'm going to identify my operation words. So I've got plus, which is addition. I've also got divided, which is division. And then I have And then I also have some numbers. So I've got 2, 12, and 4. So I'm just going to circle those. And then I'm going to write out my expression. So we're going to do 2 plus 12 divided by 4. So there's my expression. It is a numerical expression. Next, we're going to look at number 7. So we have 24 divided by 6 plus 7. So again, I'm going to start with my operation words. So we've got divided by, so that would be division. And we've got plus, which means addition. And then looking at our numbers, we've got 24, 6, and 7. So then we're going to write our expression. So we're going to do 24 divided by 6 plus, and then 7. Okay, now it's your turn to try a couple of problems. So you're going to try number 3 and number 5 on your own. You want to pause the video right now so that you can do it on your own, and then when you're done, you can check your answer. And then here are your answers for 3 and 7. Make sure you check them to make sure you did them right. You may need to pause this if you need to correct something. Okay, we're going to move on to our next examples. So next we're going to do number 11, which is the sum of 3 and 7 divided by 2. Now, when you hear words like sum and there's other things involved, a lot of times that will tell you that either it's going to need some parentheses, or if it's a division problem, then you can divide it by either putting it on the top of the division, the numerator, or in the denominator. Okay, so we're going to identify our operation words. So we've got sum, which means addition. And then we've got divided by, which means division. Oops. And then for our numbers, we've got 3 and 7 and 2. Okay, so there's a couple different ways that we can write this. There's one way that I prefer, and then there's another way that's also right. So I'll start off with the one that is also right, but it's not the way I prefer to write it. So we're going to do the sum of 3 and 7. So because I have two numbers there and I'm also going to do another operation, I'm going to put parentheses. So the sum of 3 and 7, so that's 3 plus 7. And I need the parentheses because I want to make sure the order of operations is correct. And then we have divided by 2. So that is one way that you can write this answer. The other way that you can write this answer, and this is the way I prefer, is as a fraction. And if you write it as a fraction, you don't actually need the parentheses, although it's not wrong to put them. So you could also do, or 3 plus 7, and then make it a fraction, which is division, so divided by 2. So either of those is fine. Okay, let's move on to 23. We have the sum of 6 and 15 divided by the sum of 13 and 9. Now this one, I'm just going to write it the way I prefer. Since we have division, I prefer to write it as a fraction. So let's get our operation words. So we've got sum, which means addition. We've got divided by, which means division. And then we've got another sum, which means addition. Okay, so then let's get our numbers. So for our numbers, we've got 6, 15, 13, and 9. Okay, so I'm going to write it as a fraction. So on the top of the fraction, I have the sum of 6 and 15. So that would be 6 plus 15. And then on the bottom of the fraction, which you remember the fraction means division, I have the sum of 13 and 9. So that means I'm going to do 13 plus 9. Okay, now it's your turn to try a problem. So you are going to try number 11, the sum of 3 and 7 divided by 2. Again, pause the video so that you can take a moment to actually get the answer. And then once you have your answer, you can start it again to check it. And here is the answer that you should have gotten. And again, remember, if you don't write this as a fraction, you can also write it with parentheses. So you would have the 3 plus 7 in parentheses and then divided by 2. So if you need to pause this to fix your answer, please feel free to do that. Okay, here's our next problem. So we have Shenandoah's rectangular bedroom is 12 feet long and 7 feet wide. Write a numerical expression to describe the area of Shenandoah's bedroom. Now, I always like to draw a picture if I can. So I'm going to draw a rectangle because they tell us the bedroom is a rectangle. And it's 12 feet long. So length is 12 feet. And the width is 7 feet. Now, you should know how to find the area of a rectangle. But in case you forgot, area of a rectangle is equal to length times width. So we know our length is 12 and our width is 7. So for our area, we're going to do 12 times 7. So our expression is just 12 times 7. And that's it. Okay, now it's your turn to try one of these word problems. So we have a solar system. It takes Earth about 365 days to orbit the sun. It takes Uranus about 85 times as long. Write a numerical expression to describe the number of days it takes Uranus to orbit the sun. So try that on your own. Pause the video so that you have some time to work it out. And then when you're done, you can check your answer. And then here's the answer that you should have gotten. If you need to pause so that you can fix your answer, that's fine. Okay, that is the end of 1.1a. So now you're going to do the video quiz. Remember, you need to get a 75% in order to move on to the practice. And if you don't, then you need to rewatch the video.